first. If you could please give the grammarian report, Chris.
Sure. So overall for filler words, we did pretty well with this meeting. Bill, you had 2 ahs. Harvey, a few ahs and an Bob, a few uhs. Rich, Mahesh, a couple uhs and a so. Robert, 1 and Lindsay, 2 ums. The word of the day was only used a couple times. Bill used it twice and Al once. That's it.
Great. And now, if we could have the timer report from Mary Alice Richardson.
Everyone did okay, except several people were short. Leslie's speech evaluation was 1 minute 14 seconds.
Do you mean
2 minutes
Lindsay?
is supposed to be the
Did you mean to say Lindsay or Leslie? You said Leslie.
Lindsay, sorry.
Okay.
So it was short, over half a minute. And Chris's grammarian report was 33 seconds. And that was short because it was supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes. I don't know. Sometimes, how are you going to stretch out something?
Just 1 word every 5 seconds. Today.
But everybody did great. Not going over.
Our last speaker today is Brendan O'Brien. Brendan had this to say about staying healthy. It's important to walk frequently and maintain awareness of proper breathing and heart rate. If I feel a shortness of breath or discover an increase of blood pressure, I commit to more walking and cardio exercise to train for better breathing, lowering blood pressure. Please welcome Brendan.
My doctor agrees with that too, so that's even better. I'm going to touch on the meeting as a whole briefly, and then I'll get to the other main job of the general evaluator, which is to comment on the evaluators. Bill always sets a tremendous example as a Toastmaster of being at the front of the room. He managed the time, he managed the transitions between the roles. The only one who didn't shake the hand, at least the first part of the meeting before I left, was Harvey when he finished his speech. So it was not formally said at the beginning, shake the person's hand before you leave the lectern, but Peter and Bell did it at the beginning, so it was a demonstration, but that's something that should always be mindful, not to leave the lectern vacant and do a handoff to the next person. But overall, everyone stuck to that, but just to be aware of it. Excellent theme, and again, good transitions between the roles and the maintaining the theme throughout the meeting. As far as the evaluations, I too acknowledged the distraction of looking down at the hand, and I said, I understand the suggestion of going back to the point to look at notes, but my obvious suggestion would have been if you actually had a card in your hand, rather than what is he look what's with the hand? What is that? Does he have? I actually thought you were taking after Al and tattooing your hand with notes, so following him around too much. But but that was a good suggestion. I also like because the card in the hand allows you to stay out in front and still do the body language rather than going back, and this actually takes a little bit of time to come back here, and it might actually subtract from time you have to perform the speech. So, but I'm just trying to think what I saw. But it was a good suggestion, and the fact that it was abstraction I thought was accurate. When the part about what Rob mentioned about how the title of your speech fit with what you were mostly speaking about, I thought was also a great observation. Except for the fact that I think you began with a story about Joseph, and I know it was sort of an overarching story with these examples in the middle. So, but I think you could have touched on the title a little more frequently, so that we knew we were still on the subject that was in the title of the speech. As for Lindsay of Al, I thought it was brief and to the point, except for the fact that we've had this speech evaluated a few times already. It could have been a little longer. I thought you could have gone a little more into the examples. You did demonstrate how the poems could have been easier to understand if he paused or at every line. The one thing I have to say, in my experience about poetry, the poetry is stronger when you deliver lines a little slower, like a line at a time. You can do the rhythm of a line of poetry, but the actual delivery of line after line, so that we understand each line can be slower. That's one understanding of how to deliver poetry. I see the red card, but it was, again, Bill, great example of Toastmastering. I invented a word. And a very robust meeting.
And last, is going to be Robert Eisenberg, and he's going to go to schedule for next week.
I'm going to make a comment. I don't know how many years I've been Toastmasters, but more than I can count. And I have never left the lectern without saying, I forgot. And what did I forget today? Yogurt. Did you ever see or hear anything more innocent looking than yogurt? Check out the sugar. 28 mgs in most little piece of yogurt. And the other one is tofu. I mean, who would suspect that tofu would be extremely high in sodium? I mean, just look at it. It doesn't look like it is. I think it is. Anyway, enough. Sergeant Arms, Peter?
Code.